This is the first presentation of the Mahajivadana Shanti Karmaya of the Samadeepa Samaja Kendra. What is the Mahajivadana Shanti Karmaya? Karmaya means action. Shanti means peace. Maha means great. Jiva means life. Dana means offering. So as you can see, Mahajivadana Shanti Karmaya means the great life offering of action for peace. What is the Samadeepa Samaja Kendra? You can visit their website and get an idea for yourself. And when you visit that website, you will see that it looks like any other voluntary organization or non-governmental organization as they are known in this part of the world. What may not become obvious from that website is the fact that the Samadeepa Samaja Kendra is part of the life work of one of the most remarkable people who has appeared on the island that we know as Sri Lanka. So who is this person and what is remarkable about his life work? If you look at the name Samadeepa Samaja Kendra, it tells us something about the nature of the life work of this person. Samadeepa could mean a light of peace, or it could be an island of peace. Samaja Kendriya is social center or center for society. It may be that this person was trying to build an island of peace. And very interestingly, this center for society or social center is situated in the sacred city of Anuradhapura on the island of Sri Lanka. Those of you who are familiar with the history of the island will understand the significance of that particular geographical location. But what is most interesting to me and in fact is the reason why I am speaking to you today is that this person very recently, in fact on the 29th of May this year, made an extremely interesting declaration. He declared that his Samadeepa Samaj Kendra, which for all these many years had functioned as a voluntary association, has now been transformed into a group of spiritually awakened people committed to peace and good governance. This is something remarkable in an island that has been torn apart by conflict and by wars and by all kinds of chauvinism and all kinds of extremisms. It is particularly important because over the last several decades, this person, assisted by those around him, has turned this Samadeepa Samaj Kendra into a multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multi-ideological, multicultural, multilinguistic gathering right in the heart of this island, in the sacred city of Anuradhapura. So in the midst of this conflicted situation, there has emerged this island of peace, right in the heart of the island, in the middle of its ancient sacred city of Anuradhapura. And this Samadeepa, or this light of peace, has the potential to act as a beacon that can show the path forward to the people of this island. And this Samadeepa can also function as a platform of inclusiveness, where religious and ideological dogmas and theories can be explored and can be improved and can be reformed and can be purged of extremism and made more open and inclusive. And this is a function that is vitally necessary for the island today. And it is a function that may be too complex for the government to provide or for any political party to provide or for any non-governmental organization to provide. But it is exactly the kind of platform that a group of spiritually awakened people can provide. And it is this potential that has made me agree to participate in this Mahajivadana or great life offering. And my participation in this Mahajivadana Shanti Karma is a little different from what has been the norm for the past few decades. The Mahajivadana Shanti Karma is performed over a 15-day period. Every year. And it has traditionally consisted of the making of offerings and the giving of alms. And in that sense, I am well within that tradition of making offerings and giving alms. But the nature of this offering and the nature of these alms that I am giving is quite different. What I am giving is access to a conceptual framework and a perceptual paradigm that holds out the possibility of peace, not only within this island, but for the whole human species. This is my great life offering of an action for peace. And it consists of presentations like this, by which concepts will be communicated. In fact, a whole conceptual framework will be communicated over this 15-day period. It consists of discourses where these concepts and their implications can be explored through discussions. It consists of exercises which help develop a deeper understanding of these concepts and integrate them within individual lives. And it consists of the teaching of psychophysical practices which reconfigure the human organism in ways that make the practice of peace possible. So this is something new in the traditions of the Mahajivadana Shanti Karma of Samadeepa Samaja Kendriya. And I hope in the future to open this Shanti Karmaya to people from all over the world so that they will all be able to participate and benefit from it. So who is this person who is responsible for this Mahajivadana Shanti Karmaya and for Samadeepa Samaja Kendriya? He is a man. He goes by the name, or he is known as Dr. Chandra Ratna Bandara. And he comes from a family that has been the traditional guardians of a temple. When he was a young man, the cultural changes that had begun sweeping across the face of the planet in the 1960s impacted on his life as well. And now the interesting thing is that these very same cultural changes impacted on all our lives as well. But not many of us accepted the challenge of responding. We saw the possibility of a better world. We saw the need for civilizational change, for civilizational transformation, and for civilizational reform. But we did not. We were not willing to do the work that was required. In all fairness, I must say that many of us did not know how the work could be done. And if you look at what happened between the 60s and today, you can see how many people turned to violence in order to build peace. And you can see the outcome of those efforts or attempts. So many of us did not know how to bring about this change. Many of us gave up hope and fell in line with the patterns of behavior and value systems and institutional frameworks that prevailed. Some of us had to do so for our survival, because there were no alternative networks that we could link up with and build our lives. This man, called Dr. Chandra Ratna Bandara, was one of the few exceptions, and it is remarkable that this exception should have emerged in a tiny third world country like Sri Lanka, and that it should emerge in such a strategic location, right in the heart of this island, right in the middle of its ancient sacred city of Anuradhapura, the ancient sacred city to which the entire island's population looks up and reveres and respects. And it is quite amazing that this cultural shift expressed itself through him in a search for peace, at a time when the island was heading for war. So this is a remarkable man who stood up against the trends of his times. He stood up against chauvinism, he stood up against violence, he stood up against war cries, and he stood for peace. And that is what he is continuing to do. And now, having come forward to identify himself with a group of people who claim to be spiritually awakened men and women working towards good governance and peace and the elimination of corruption, he has created a platform. Very clearly, he has created a platform on which all those who share his vision can be accommodated. And they can form a network, which, as I said, can not only show the people of the island the path to peace, but show the whole world what can be done. This is the man, this Dr. Chandra Ratna Bandara is the man behind this Mahajivadana Shanti Karma, this great life offering of action for peace.